guys fans, it's me, Pete, and I'm giving you a deck video. Yes, we're trying to get back on track with these. We've been a bit patchy recently, but hopefully we are back on the up and up now. So this week is going to be a best of 3, and for all of our Patreon viewers of $5 and up, you will get to see the second and third games, but I'm afraid everybody else only gets the first one. So if you do want to see what happens at the end of it all, you will have to stump up a little bit of cash. But you know what? It's for a good cause. You'll support us. We'll be able to put more material out so everyone's a winner. Anyway, I digress. So what is my deck going to be for this week? So I've gone for quite a few new cards, a few old classics as well, but a lot of new stuff. So this is probably not what I would class as an optimal deck, but it's a deck I've wanted to try out. It's got a lot of fun cards, and it's a deck I've tried to build to take on all comers. Although I know who I'm up against, I am taking cards that I think I would use in any situation. So let's crack on with the objectives. First one I've got is Change of Tactics. This one will come in handy because I also have another card, Keep Them Guessing, which is to do lots of different activities. So to combine the two, I'll put someone on guard the first turn, and then I'll charge them the next turn. Hopefully that'll help me get Change of Tactics, which is score immediately, and will help me work towards Keep Them Guessing, assuming I've got that in my hand as well. Next card I've got is Chosen Champion. My tactic for this game is Zarbags is going to be my guy. He's going to be the main man. I'm going to be loading him up with loads of upgrades, so hopefully this one will be easy to score because of that. I've then got Escalation, my hope being I'll get loads of glory and I'll play loads of upgrades and I'll get Escalation as part of that. I've then gone for Pure Carnage, which I do like for goblins. You score it in the third end phase if you have 7 people dead. Pretty simple, and it's 3 glory. It's almost guaranteed with my goblins. There's going to be a lot of people dead there. So, you know, going to take that one. Against the spooky boys, it's even more likely there's going to be at least 7 people dead, and it can be anybody, not just my guys. I then gone for Supremacy, a classic. Going to take that one. I've got a lot of bodies. If I can get 3 objectives in my half, I should be able to score that pretty easily. Well guarded after that. Have 2 guys standing next to my boss. With 9 people on the board, I think it's going to be pretty hard to not achieve that unless Robin does something sneaky. Mad Scurry, I'm not 100% sure about this one, but it is 2 glory, and I score it in an end phase if I have at least 5 surviving enemy fighters having made a move. Well, I'm hoping if I can get a lot of my guys standing next to each other, that one should be fairly easy to score. I've then got Obliterated. I do like Snurk. I'm not sure how useful he is yet in games. He's a bit unreliable and a bit random, but if you kill someone, this scores immediately and you get 2 glory for it, so you score 3 for killing 1 person. That is immense, and if you can soften someone up first and get them down to 1 wound, then you can get Snurk to come along and flatten them. It's just great. The next one is Extreme Flank. With the number of bodies I've got, I should be able to score this. I will be placing my board so that they're square on with each other, just to limit the amount of distance I'll have to travel. But Extreme Flank I think is a winner for any large warbands such as Sepulchral Guard, Gits or Nighthaunt. I then got Fired Up, which is pretty much a given for my guys. It's pretty easy to score, providing you get 3 glory. The hope there is that I get that in the second end phase, or for the second round onwards, really. I don't really want it at the start unless I've managed to rack up some glory during the turn. And then I've got What Armor, which is make a successful attack with an attack action that has Cleave. I've got some Cleave in my deck. I've got some Cleave on some of my guys. This should be a winner. It's also an instant score, so it'll help me hopefully get some mid-turn glory. I haven't got to kill someone with it either. I've just got to make a successful attack. So even if I just do 1 damage, that's enough to get me that instant glory. So those are my objectives, and what am I going to use to help me gain that glorious glory? Well, here are my gambits. I've got Duel of Wits. Always take this in a 22 card or more deck, and I have 22 cards. Play this, get 2 cards when someone else plays Ploy as a reaction. I then got Great Concussion. This will be helpful to hopefully either shunt me onto objectives if I'm going for Supremacy, or just to hopefully split people up if I'm trying to pick on one particular person. Hidden Paths. Now I'm hoping I can use this one with Snurk, maybe shove him across the board if my opponent is, you know, turtling up somewhere. He should help break things up a bit like a bowling ball with a load of skills. It also might be helpful to help me go and jump onto an objective right near the end, help me score Supremacy, something like that. I then got Quick Thinker. The ability to cut off my opponent from successfully making a charge action is great, so I will be using that hopefully to great advantage. Then I've got SHARDGALE. Now everyone's saying, but SHARDGALE, that's going to do 1 damage to all of your guys, and most of them only have 2. Well, my thinking behind that is the fact that most people are going to be doing 2 or more damage, and a lot of offensive decks go for plus damage cards. So if I can take away some of my opponent's effectiveness there, and make them a little squishier for me to kill as well, then that's a great field leveler for me, and it makes everybody a viable target, not just all of my guys. I then go for quick advance from the leader set. I like the ability to be able to push 2 of my guys 1 hex each. It might help me again go for that supremacy right at the end of a round. I think got a load of goblin cards. So I've got Curse of the Bad Moon. It requires 2 focuses, 2 swirlies, but it's lethal if you can cast it. You pick a hex and everybody in that hex or any adjacent hex suffers 1 damage. That could be loads of damage depending on who you're up against, and it's equally more so effective against Nightvault because there's so many of them. I then got Fungal Blessing. Do a damage to someone if they kill one of my guys. Now, this isn't as good as I originally thought when I picked my deck. You'd be much better off taking death throws because for this one you need somebody adjacent, so it's not the person who dies, it's someone standing next to them who plays the ploy or plays this reaction. So I would not take this in future decks, I would go for death throws instead. There's nothing stopping you taking both, of course, but it's just much less likely to happen, I think, than death throws is, which is just you kill me, you take a damage. Then go for MADCAP Mushrooms. Hopefully that will help me to cast my Curse of the Bad Moon or some of my other spells or upgrades later on for Zarbag. He is going to be my main guy, so I want to big him up as much as I can. I've then gone for Make Some Noise, which is push up my 2 friendly squigs 2 hexes up to 2, so I don't have to worry if I lose one of them. It might help to shove them forwards if I then intend to make a charge action with Drizgit to give him that support and the extra movement. I can't use it to go for supremacy because they can't capture objectives, but it might be helpful to hem somebody in and then get somebody to charge him next turn to get all those extra supports. And then I've got Sneaky Stabbing. It's a Gambit spell, lightnings. Hopefully I can maybe get that off at the same time as my MADCAP Mushrooms, and it gives my next attack +1 dice and cleave. The cleave obviously helps me score Watt armor as well, which is make a successful attack with cleave. The extra dice will help make that a successful attack. So there we go, loads and loads of bits there to all help each other out. So those are my gambits, and we'll move on to the upgrades. So what upgrades am I going to buy with that glorious glory earned by all those gambits? Well, these are them. My first one is a Destiny to Meet. I'll have a lot of bodies running around, so hopefully I can put this on somebody near the end, and it's a guaranteed 1 additional glory. Always nice. I've then gone for Acrobatic, which is turn my dodge defense into shield defense. This will be great for Zarbag. He rolls 2 of them, so that will give him 2 shields. That will make him extra unkilly. I've then gone for Deathly Fortitude, also probably for Zarbag, +1, +2 wounds, -2 move. It'll make him slow, but I don't really mind so much about that. I want him to stay alive as long as I can because I'm going to be going for him for Chosen Champion, and probably it's just Destiny to Meet, and anything else I can think of. I've then got Great Fortitude. This one will probably go on Snurk or Drizgit rather than Zarbag. Depends on who's where at the right time really, but it's a nice card to always have. And now I've got Shade Glass Spear. My thinking here being there's going to be so many bodies running around, sometimes it's going to be nice to get that extra range. The 2 damage and 2 hammers is nice, and it might do 3 damage on a crit, also nice. If I can get that off at the same time as Sneaky Stabbing beforehand, that could really help me out to kill somebody who's a bit tougher, who might have been weakened up a bit with SHARDGALE already. I then got Tethered Spirit. Normally I go for Soul Trap, but I figured, you know what, I'll give Tethered Spirit a try, just in case my guy is in a bit of trouble, and he takes the hit and he's nearly dead, and I need him to get out of dodge. I've then gone for Endless Whirl. It's a nice little upgrade on Snurk. If I can get him in the thick of the action, I can use this, maybe hit 1 or 2 people. They just take a damage. Doesn't stop, can't be stopped. Always great to have. 1 extra damage to anybody who's around. Nothing to be sniffed at. I've then gone for Vindictive Glare. This is one for Zarbag again, as I'm making him my main guy. Range of 3 and 1 damage, +1 damage if it has a crit, which hopefully by rolling 2 dice for him, and maybe if I've got, you know, the MADCAP Mushrooms off at the same time, that could be a nice little extra damage. I've then gone for the FANEWAY Crystals. Not sure who I'd put this on as yet, possibly just a random little grot, depending on how things are going. Help to jump onto something to grab Supremacy, always nice. I've then gone for the Slumbering Key, pretty much the same as a Destiny to me. We'll probably dump both of those on Snurk along with maybe the Great Fortitude, or if I haven't got his Endless Whirl out, and then that'll help me also score Chosen Champion at the same time. I find so far that Snurk, people don't bother going after him because he has 3 dodges, and you just don't want to go near him if you can get away with it, because he has that ability to do possibly 3 damage without you being able to stop any of it. So I find he's a good person to dump all these on, and you can big him up even if you give him something like Deathly Fortitude or Sudden Growth as well, to give him those extra 2 wounds and make him even more unkilly. Or if you could put Acrobatic on him, then he's rolling 3 shields instead of 3 dodges, and then no one's going to bother even trying to go after him. Last thing I've got is Tome of Incantations, which I'm going to put again on Zarbag. He's the only one who can take it, and it means I can change one of my dice to a lightning. Now this has two very useful things here. One is if I roll 2 crits, I can use this to change one to a lightning, because most of the time I'm going to be after a lightning to avoid me from taking damage. The other thing is obviously some of my abilities like Vindictive Glare use lightning, so that's handy, as does Sneaky Stabbing, so the ability to increase my chances of getting lightnings are all good points. So that's my deck. I hope it's going to be quite useful. I think it will do quite well against Nighthaunts, but I think this would be quite good against a lot of people. The manoeuvrability will help me with getting people all bunched up so I can then run everybody scurrying along together and hopefully score Mad Scurry. I'm still not convinced about Mad Scurry the most, but out of that I think all of the cards I've got are easy to score. I've got 3 instant scorers there. I've got 1 third end phase, which is almost guaranteed as long as it comes out late in the game, especially if I'm up against a high aggro deck who are going to be going around killing people. I might as well get some glory for that. And yeah, I think I'm quite quietly optimistic about this deck. I think it will give Robin a run for his money. I think it will give a lot of people a run for their money. The only other thing I can't really decide is whether I take out some of the glory upgrades and replace them with some more shade glass weapons. The possibility there being that if I can use a shade glass weapon to kill somebody, that will give me a glory just the same as a Destiny to Meet or Slumbering Key will, but at the same time it will take somebody out of action. Obviously though, you have to roll dice for those things, and we know what my track record's like on that front. But anyway, that's my deck. Let me know if you spot anything else apart from my slightly dodgy choice with Fungal Blessing that you would change or do differently, and we shall see you soon in the Mirrored City. Like I say, this is a best of 3, so there will be 3 games, or possibly 2, depending on if I manage to absolutely annihilate Robin or not, or if he annihilates me. That never happens. So if you do want to see the second and third games, you will have to be a Patreon supporter and you will have to be at $5 level or more. I know it sucks a little bit, but them's is the rules, and you're going to help support us, and you know, that'll just mean more content, so everyone wins. So we shall see you soon. Bye!